BYU led the entire first half here in Salt Lake City. They're up 36-23. As we're ready for the second half, we welcome you back inside the Delta Center. That's Corey Williams. I'm Eric Rothman. And Corey, we talked about the turnovers that BYU generated on the defensive end. Not only were the turnovers impressive, but how quickly they get down the floor and beat you in transition.
No question about it. They like to score, but what's impressive about them is they're willing to do the work beforehand to create the turnovers. When you see these are guys just getting their hands in there, being aggressive, not being afraid to challenge the offensive player. Once again, hand in the passing lane creates the turnover. They are willing to agitate and provoke and stick their hands in there, get in the passing lane, get deflections, and then once they get it, it's off to the races. They know exactly what to do with the ball in the open court. But what impresses me the most is their three-point shooting. They rotate the ball. They've got a bunch of shooters. They can shoot off ball screens, penetration kicks, inside out. You really got to put your heels on the three-point line and be there when they catch it, because they are absolutely lethal from beyond the arc.
Jackson Robinson had a pair of three-pointers in the first half. He had 10 points. Spencer Johnson led the way with 14. BYU shot 5 of 15 overall from three-point range and got 15 points off of Fresno State turnovers. For Fresno State on the offensive end, 10 made field goals, 11 turnovers. That's not going to get it done no matter who you're playing against.
No, and if you want to go cup half full on a situation like that, the good news is you're beating yourself, and you can stop that. If you can take care of the ball, you'll find yourself right back in this ball game.
BYU, number 19 in the country, 6-0 so far this year. Wins against San Diego State, NC State, Arizona State. Now looking for win number 7 and their 12th straight non-conference win if they can beat the Bulldogs here in Salt Lake City. And quickly to start the second half, Spencer Johnson will go to the free throw line.
And that could be a pretty big foul. Only 12 seconds in. That's his third foul. One of the premier scorers for this Fresno State team, picking up that third foul early. We'll see what the coach's decision is.
Yeah, Donovan Gaff was limited in that first half with 2 fouls. He only has 1 field goal attempt, 0 points. He's the leading scorer on this team coming in with 12 points per game. Now he picks up his third less than 30 seconds into this second half. And that'll spend Spencer Johnson. He makes the first free throw. And Johnson really lit it up. We mentioned he's the oldest player in Division I. He's 26 years old. He doesn't like us talking about that, but we got to talk about that. What I'm sure he is very happy to talk about is his wife Izzy is expecting their first child to be due in February. I know maybe the coaching staff saying, well, that kind of lines up with the Kansas game, so I don't know how that's going to work, but very hearty congratulations in advance to Spencer and Izzy. As caught in no man's land, Giselle tried to throw it off a BYU player. Instead, finds a teammate, and it'll be an and one for Leo Colomario.
Fresno State dodged a bullet right there. The ball was trapped in the corner. They got it out, made a good play, and what we talked about in the first half still is true. When they attack the rim, good things happen for them. They got to try to establish some rhythm and some continuity, trying to live and feast in the paint.
First foul on Ali Khalifa. 16 points in the paint for Fresno State.
I think for the Bulldogs, you really have to challenge Khalifa. It's not like they have a ton of size tonight. He is a reserve, getting some good minutes, but my goal would be to challenge him, try to get him in foul trouble, get that smaller lineup out there.
BYU limited in size with Fus Traore out for this game with a hamstring injury. As Khalifa finds Hall, too strong on the lane, and then Atiki Aliatiki on the bench with 3 fouls that he picked up in the first half. And that is a turnover with Yap stepping on the sideline before that made 3.
Well, you talk about what could have been a big play right there. You get the transition, the penetration, the kick, and the quick 3, but none of it counts because your shoes are just a little too big on that sideline.
And that would have cut the lead into single digits for the first time in quite a while. Instead, a 38-26 lead for BYU. Johnson alone, now draws the double team. Hall in the corner. Another 3, the 6th of the game for BYU. Hall's first.
Textbook inside out. You see the double team, great court vision, no hesitation from the shooter. That's how you beat the double team.
Good penetration by Yap, and then the touch dish inside to Eduardo Andre.
Right here, you're going to see Johnson making the heads-up play. He knows the double is coming, but the vision sees his guy in the corner. Baseline pivot, lights out. Cougars knocking it down.
Ball's first field goal, backdoor cut, baseline Trevor. Now it's another assist for Ali Khalifa, his fourth.
Just when you think your guy's coming to get that dribble handoff, the Cougars doing a nice job with the back cuts.
L has 7 points on the day. Ducell kept checking a foul against BYU.
As a defender, your nightmare is your guy coming to the ball, getting a ball, a handoff, but he back cuts you at the last second, and Fresno State's got to do a better job as a team seeing that back cut and having a second defender there to help out, because you know you have to guard the handoff, you have to guard the passes for the guys out front shooting threes.
Khalifa not only finding the passing angles, but hitting guys in stride, too. Hill inside Andre. Waterman came over to help. Now Weaver. And I got away with a foul, no whistle, as Khalifa was there with the rim protection, and a great move by Spencer Johnson. Johnson's got 18 now.
Johnson out there toying with people offensively, gives him the no look and then the spin move for the finger roll. He is a handful.
7 for 8 from the floor. Hill, another baseline cut, this time Colomaria. Khalifa's there with the rejection.
Early in the first half, Johnson showed you the step back fadeaway. So just when you think he's about to hit you with that, he turns, comes back for the finger roll. Beautiful play. Always keep the defender guessing right there. Just a nice move.
7 for 8 from the floor for Johnson. He's got a three-pointer. It's 14th straight game for Johnson with a three-point made. Dictating traffic up top, a 45-28 lead for BYU. Johnson behind the back to Khalifa with the finish.
At this point, you've almost got to play him straight up, because the double team, they are picking that apart when the Bulldogs go to double team the post.
First basket of the game for Khalifa has been more of a facilitator tonight. BYU stretching the lead out to 19 now. And a turnover.
When you attack the post and you double, you've got to take away vision. You can't come like that and let a player see. And then we talked about the second line of defense. Just a step too late, and then there's the conversion. If you're going to double, that third defender has to take away that pass.
Driving Johnson, kick out corner for Waterman. And Hall, absolutely no red jerseys in the vicinity. The tip follow to put BYU up by 21, their largest lead of the game. An 8-0 run for the Cougars, and they're all over Fresno State here early in the second half.
Live sports.
College experience, playing
right.
in college, but Tatum has about $98 million more, so I don't want to talk about price right now.
Well, what's $98 million amongst friends? Fresno State down by 21. Boy, go back a couple minutes ago when Donovan Yap had that three-pointer in the corner that was called off because he stepped on the sideline. That would have made it a 9-point game. Instead, where we're at now, it's a 21-point lead for BYU as Pope gets his own rebound after the missed three.
You know, we talk about psychologically getting this down to single digits. That was an opportunity for Fresno State to kind of get this game within striking distance with a lot of time, but things have turned since then.
Well, it's a foul on BYU as Fresno State misses another three. They're 1 for 7 from distance. 49-28, BYU on top.
Welcome to a partnership where customer experience comes first. It's our focus. It's your expectation. We provide support to those that go the extra mile for all of us. Supplying products, training, and service for generations. Learn more at BradyIndustries.com.
If you're looking to build your brand awareness and increase market share as BYU moves into the Big 12, this is the place, BYU Athletics. We can provide the tools you need to make sure your company is seen and heard. BYU Athletics is where you can align your products and services with loyal fans that cheer for our Cougars. And they can also help your business win. Learn more about what a partnership with BYU Athletics and your company will look like. After all, this is the place. Email sponsorship at byu.edu today.
BYU is a place I wanted to be because I knew it would help me progress as a person and not just a player.
It gave him something to play for, a higher purpose, a bigger meaning.
For him to look on the brighter side of things, that's why he's someone everyone should cheer for.
Belief is everything, and I think that's what I had when I came here.
I truly believe that there's good things to find in whatever situation we're in.
We're working on a BYU engineering outreach project. In Ecuador, they have prosthetic clinics, but it's really expensive. We wanted to create a process where they could make their own prosthetics.
It was incredibly motivating for our entire team to know that this would go to people not able to provide for a prosthetic.
BYU has changed my life by giving me an education that brings me closer to God. The things that we're learning can so directly help others and improve the world.
BYU, Corey, really relying on the big man, Ali Khalifa, in this one as we see the assist package here, but the big man stepping up, getting the starting nod with Fus Traore out. He's got 4 assists, and he has just got fantastic court vision.
Great court vision, but it also takes teammates who understand sometimes to get the ball, you got to go away from the ball. The back cut is the most underrated part of college basketball. When players understand that, they get a lot of easy buckets.
Hill on baseline, 15 assists for BYU on 20 made field goals. Good crowd here at the Delta Center. Eric Rothman and Corey Williams here with you. Big 12 now on ESPN+. First year for BYU in the Big 12 as Trevin Nell lost the handle trying to pass it over to Hall, a turnover and a foul.
Taking a page out of the Cougars' book right there. Getting your hand in the passing lane, trying to stir up a little something. There you see the Bulldogs mixing it up, creating a turnover. And these next 5 minutes are going to be crucial for them because they want to put themselves within striking distance over the final 10 minutes of the game. That's how coaches think. They think in terms of blocks of playing time. And right now, Fresno State has to play well, one possession at a time, try to cut into this lead.
Andre Trapp finds Pope over the top and Trapp. Turnover number 14 on Fresno State.
Pope giving them some great minutes. I love his energy, creating turnovers, cutting, moving without the ball. He's got a tough defensive assignment as he's out there with Spencer Johnson, who's a handful.
Here is Johnson. Realized he was all alone. Pulls up from 3, Malachi. Ooh, a little elbow action. Hall nearly got his head taken off. Ducell missing the 3 as Fresno State now 1 for 8. Atiki Atiki back in the game and immediately picks up his 4th foul.
Yeah, he saw that coming a mile away. It's one of the reasons you don't hit big men in transition. Their ball handling skills, their decision making gets a little shaky in plays like that. You know, you see them out ahead of the pack, so you give them the ball, but this is just an easy play. You're going to see the defender just set up, take him right on the chest. Easy call for the official.
I mentioned the missed three for Fresno State, who's now 1 for 8 from three-point range. BYU is consistently one of the best three-point defensive teams in the nation, allowing opponents to shoot just 22% from behind the arc. That's good for 4th in the country. So not only can they make threes on offense, they can defend it as well as Balachi. The throwdown on the alley-oop.
Right, and that's only the second time we've heard from him this game, and they need to do more of that. We talked about the pick and roll, finding the bigs, playing in the paint. This is what we mean. Turn the corner, get the 2-on-1, and you put it up there where nobody else can get to it. And this is a big-time play. Look at the concentration, the athleticism, the one-hand jam. There's nothing BYU can do about that.
Balachi has not played a ton in this game. He came into this one having really dominated the boards in the last 2 games for Fresno State as Saunders leads in. Balachi, the last 2 games, 16 and 13 rebounds respectively. Here in this one, 3 rebounds and 4 points for the big fella. Here's the corner 3 by Weaver, or excuse me, Ducell. He was fouled. It's going to be interesting, Corey, for BYU as they get healthy and as conference play starts. You're going to get Dawson Baker back. You're going to get Fus Traore back. The question is, who loses minutes? Because we talked about how productive these guys are from top to bottom. And there's just only so many minutes to go around, especially in conference play when typically coaches tend to shrink the rotation a little bit.
I think the minutes will probably come from Khalifa, obviously, because he's filling in. But what we say is that's one of those good problems. You know, when you've got guys who share the rock, everybody knows that their offense comes from their teammates. So who's out there for how many minutes, it really doesn't matter. The question is, are they running their sets? Are they doing their pick and rolls? Are they in transition? When you scout BYU and you get ready to play them, you're telling your guys, hey, we got to guard everybody. We got to take care of the ball, and everyone can hurt us. So it's going to be interesting to watch them play this season in the Big 12 because you really got to bring your lunch pail and play defense against this Cougar team.
Johnson off the high screen from Khalifa, off the mark, out of bounds, and it'll be Fresno State basketball.
And when you think about the 16-point lead they have right now, it's not that Fresno State's playing poorly. They shot 47% in the first half. Early on, they were at 50% early on in this half. Not sure exactly what they're shooting at this precise moment, but they haven't played poorly. It's just the Cougars are very efficient in what they do.
47% from the floor shooting for Fresno State at this one. The turnovers and the extra field goal attempts for BYU have not helped the Bulldogs, and a traveling violation and yet another turnover, number 15 on the Bulldogs.
And I know it's a 7-footer closing out, but if you're Hill, you got to take that 3 and stretch the defense. They had a great inside-out opportunity. Hill thought he could blow by Khalifa and shuffle his feet. I'd rather saw him shoot that 3.
51-35 Johnson. Kick out to Saunders, who wants to drive. Saunders hit at the rim by Eduardo Andre. Foul on the floor. It'll be a shooting foul. Saunders heading to the line. Saunders, one of those key bench players for BYU. We mentioned BYU averaging 40 points per game off the bench. Saunders was averaging 9 points per game this year. Him and Jackson Robinson, really the key bench players for the Cougs. He's got 4 here today.
We're talking about a BYU team that so far this season averaged about 92 points per game. And I don't think they'll get there tonight, which is a credit to the defense of Fresno State.
They're also beating opponents on average by 32 points. They might get there if they keep getting turnovers from Fresno State. And a block. Saunders was there to clean it up.
Great second effort by the Cougs, but a beautiful block in transition. But that's been the story of the night. BYU in the right place at the right time as Hill finally takes advantage of that ball screen and knocks down a triple.
Hill's got 12 points. Just the second made three-pointer of the game for Fresno State in 9 attempts. Another feed inside. Khalifa. Foul against Fresno State, and Hall will go to the line. When we come back, everybody's got a side hustle.
It's in-season tournament time. It's NBA on ESPN time. Nothing held back. All for the love of soccer. On ESPN Plus.
So Trey Stewart for BYU hustles on the court. He hustles off the court too. His clothing company, Default Happiness, as we've got a chance to take a look at one of his custom-made hoodies. This one is going for, you can see the label here, this one is going to Jordan Clarkson, as Trey Stewart has been making clothes for professional athletes and for friends and celebrities. He was initially kind of got his start after Dwayne Wade came and spoke at BYU, and Ryan Smith, who we showed you earlier, the owner of the Utah Jazz, was there and said, encouraged Trey to go up to Dwayne, talk about his clothing line. He made a sweater for Dwayne Wade. He ended up making something for Puka Nacua for the Rams as well, and now all of a sudden he's got some celebrities and fellow athletes talking about his stuff. Jordan Clarkson saw what Dwayne Wade had from the Default Happiness clothing line that Trey Stewart runs and said, I need one of those. And so that one, after this game, is getting shipped off to Jordan Clarkson.
That one may be getting shipped off with me on my flight back to Tucson, and Mr. Clarkson may have to come find me. Very nice hoodie there, definitely original, and I can see why a lot of celebrities are clamoring for that work. That's a brilliant young man who's got an extremely bright future.
That Default Happiness. We showed the Instagram. You can find all the designs on there. But kudos to Trey Stewart for getting that side hustle working. And obviously, you know you're doing something right if D. Wade's wearing your stuff. Now, I don't know if you want me wearing the sweater. I don't know if that's going to help the brand at all. But
hey, you're popular, E. My Instagram is off the chain ever since I started posting you.
That's right. Saunders, leaner, and Spencer Johnson's there. It's a new career high for Spencer Johnson.
We've seen that several times tonight where the Cougs miss the initial shot, but get that putback. Fresno State just not boxing out. Small details all night long.
During the midway point of the second half here, Donovan Yap, who's been mired in foul trouble this entire game, the leading scorer for Fresno State coming in, still has 0 points. Hill has tried to pick up where Yap has faltered as he's led the way now with 14 points as the shot clock expires.
And if I'm Fresno State, that's my key for the upcoming games right there. Hill, one-on-one out front. He's proven he can't be stopped. They need more of that.
What do you know? Jackson Robinson, a baseline cut, another beautiful assist out of the high post by Ali Khalifa. 12 points for Robinson. Yap Bawachi, too strong. Hall trying to go inside, knocked out of bounds. Will stay with BYU. Trey Stewart and Noah Waterman checking back in for the Cougs. We talked about going into conference play for BYU. It's unknown territory, obviously, for them, going into the Big 12 season for the first time. But what we're seeing here is, even though they're not necessarily shooting their best game from 3, they're 6 from 19, what they do defensively, how it's seemingly for Fresno State, every shot has been late in the shot clock, has been really the Bulldogs having to work for every single look. That just wears teams down, and they're going to enjoy having that type of defense when it comes to conference play.
They play team concept. Everybody has their eyes on the ball. They rotate well.
They attack the basket on offenses. Richie Saunders has 8. Back out to a 20-point lead for BYU. Turnover. Robinson up ahead to Spencer Johnson, who's got 22.
Once again, the Cougars poking the ball free, get that transition bucket, and these are the plays that make a difference in a ball game. It's not the half court that kills you against BYU.
17 turnovers on Fresno State. 15 fast break points for BYU. And a foul, another transition opportunity.
And the Cougars always stay active. You're going to see a play right here, what we're talking about. Just a nice move down the lane, switches to the left. Saunders been the man on the spot for them all night, making a few plays. But like this, getting downhill, going by 4 different defenders for the easy layup. Cougars staying in attack mode all night.
Xavier Dussel called for his first foul. Robinson knocks in a 3. He's got 15 points.
And I know he hasn't been perfect, but it feels like he hasn't missed a shot. You look at the way he plays, so calm, under control, picks his spots, doesn't force anything.
6 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 4 from three-point range for BYU's leading scorer. I should say leading scorer on the season, not this game. That would belong to Spencer Johnson. Under 8 minutes to go here in the second half. A quiet game for Noah Waterman. This one's for 3. Hands it off to Robinson. Back-to-back triples. This one way downtown.
Come on, are you kidding me? That's an NBA 3. And he's just no expression on his face, just putting in the work. This kid is sensational.
18 points, 4 of 5 from 3. Second year at BYU for Robinson after coming over from Arkansas. Another turnover. 18th on Fresno State. Saunders finishes the transition bucket.
They get it and they go with it every time. The Cougars sprinting in transition.
30 points off turnovers for BYU as Saunders right up in the face of Colomario.
And what's key for this team is nobody's watching the scoreboard. They're still getting after it, trying to get deflections, pressuring the ball, trying to block shots. You don't see any let up in them defensively.
Stewart was there with the rim protection on that one. Johnson, ball fake again. Waterman falling down, no whistle. Now it's Weaver out to run for the Bulldogs and a foul on Stewart.
When you talk about being on cruise control, there's no player smoother right now than Robinson. He's in the zone with plays like this. They get him the rock, you're not in his face, that's a bucket from downtown. Cougars up big.
Jimmy, my man up there, we are not going to stop chasing the dream we can't.
You're stronger than we know.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
The BYU season of superlatives so far. It looks like 6-0 is going to improve to 7-0 as this one well in 10 with just over 6 minutes to go. 5 players averaging 10 or more points, and I think that's what, to me, Corey, is the most impressive. And again, we talked about it, but though without Dawson Baker, they expect him to make his first appearance as a BYU uniform in a couple weeks. He averaged 15 points for UC Irvine last year. We've got Fus Chayore, who's been dealing with the injuries, but it's just such a deep team. The fact that you have Jackson Robinson coming off the bench and doing doing what he does is an embarrassment of riches offensively for Mark Pope.
Yeah, talking with Coach Pope this morning, I told him, I said, BYU is a true college basketball program. You know how they're going to play. They have a philosophy. They spread the court. They run. They shoot threes. You know kind of what they want to do. And your job when you play them is to try to disrupt that. And Fresno State was not able to disrupt much of that this evening. And you see what the score is right now. But they've been able to do the things that they do well, which is create turnovers, get out in transition, knock down threes. They've had a ton of backdoors and layups and plays involving teamwork. You've got to try to disrupt that, and they do a great job of just sticking to the script.
Atiki with his 4 fouls, backing in Bolachi, and now double team. And loose ball. It's going to stay with BYU. 6 on the shot clock.
For the first time tonight, the Bulldogs successfully double-team the post and force a turnover. This is what they've been trying to do all night. Create some situations where they can get deflections and steals. But right now, the Cougars will have 6 seconds to get a good look.
Under 6 minutes to go here in the ball game. Trevor Nell, tuck in the jersey. Got it squared away. Here's Trace Stewart. Free throw circle. And Atiki fighting for the board. It'll be a shot clock reset, and the ball will stay with BYU.
You know what's, like I said before, you're up 26, but look at the effort from Atiki. Crashing the glass, fighting, winning his team an extra possession. They take no days off.
Robinson had that one popped out, and Fresno State just gives it right back. And Jackson Robinson makes it pay. He's got 21 points, his 5th three-pointer of the game.
This is the easiest 21 I've ever seen in my life. That young man is phenomenal. Barely breaking a sweat, stroking the three, making all kinds of plays.
Bolachi has thrown down some pretty impressive dunks here in this one, but just hasn't been as active as I'm sure Fresno State coaching staff would like.
Yeah, they needed to play him earlier and have him make a presence in the paint before this game got out of hand. He's made some very big plays.
Jackson Robinson. Absolutely on fire in this one.
I mean, he's just unconscious. You got to get into him and make him put it on the deck, but he's equally dangerous there.
24 points, 6 of 7 from 3. Big man wants to run. Up ahead, Robinson stripped out of bounds. Career high performance for Jackson Robinson. He had a career high in the last game against NC State, 23 points. He's got 24 in this one. Here's Trevin Nell off the inbound. And you talked about it, Corey. Despite being up 30, the effort level for BYU is still there.
And we talked about this move to the Big 12 and what that's going to mean for them night in and night out. New gyms, new teams, probably being one of the smaller teams in the conference. But when you have this type of fight and this type of energy, they're going to be in a lot of ball games this season.
Well, Jackson Robinson's going to shoot like this as the three-pointer goes down for Yap, his first point of the game. Jackson Robinson's going to shoot like this. BYU is going to be a handful. Keeps the dribble alive as Robinson after he slipped coming off the screen. Go ahead fake, floater, baseline, popped off. Isaiah Tavares, freshman, checking into the game moments ago for the first time. Robinson, transition three. And Stewart's there on the offensive glass, misses the money. Under 3.5 minutes to go now. And Saunders just picks Bolachi's pocket. Richie Saunders off the 20th turnover by Fresno State.
We talked about them not letting up. Saunders with the theft, and then he just sized up Andre and took him right to the rack. Fresno State looking a little gassed right now with a few minutes remaining. You can tell they're just not physically where they were in the first half.
33 points off of turnovers for BYU. Saunders has 12 in a row. Here's Robinson, an offensive foul.
Sometimes risks pay off. You gamble a little bit, and you end up with plays like this. Saunders comes in from the blind side, picks the pocket, and right here, the up and under. The Cougs are rolling.
For Spencer and Jackson, a career high night for Jackson, a career high in points, a career high in three-pointers made, career high for Spencer as well with those 22. And it was really the first half for Johnson, the second half for Robinson. They have not been fazed by playing on an NBA court. Big crowd here. They just go about their business, making shots.
And they take whatever the defense gives them. You give me the back door, I'll take that. You go into the screen, I'll take the three. They're not forcing anything, which is really impressive.
BYU, zone defense, back in the man-to-man. Gonna be BYU basketball. Last three games coming into tonight, Fresno State had averaged 10 turnovers a game. They've got 21 turnovers here tonight.
And you can credit the Cougars for forcing a good number of those. They're up almost 30, still reaching, swatting, knocking at the ball, and just now, the swipe knocks it off the Fresno State player and creates the turnover. You love to see that kind of energy.
Another three-pointer this time. It's Trevin Nell, the 11th made three-pointer of the game for BYU, as Nell has 10 points.
And I misspoke earlier talking about that 90-point-per-game average and how they probably wouldn't get there. They're marching towards 90 right now.
Urgent, Corey.
They're not letting off the gas at all.
Stewart tried the circus shot and missed. There are 2 minutes to play now. Deep bench substitutions coming in the next break for BYU. 3 ready to check in for the Cougars as Weaver hits the 3. And we'll get that break now. Make those substitutions. It will be Jared McGregor, Tanner Hayhurst, and Townsend Triple coming into the game. Big round of applause for Jackson Robinson as he takes the seat as his night ends with a career-high 24 points. And we will get a chance to talk to Jackson once the game concludes. Off the mark, straightaway 3 from Saunders. We've got Hayhurst out there, redshirt freshman, McGregor, the sophomore, and Townsend Triple, also a redshirt freshman. Here's Hayhurst. Saunders, spin cycle, triple, bucket. BYU will play Evansville in their next game. Evansville, the Purple Aces, having a nice season, just 1 loss so far. And then they'll be back here in Salt Lake City to take on Utah. Craig Smith's Utes for Fresno State. They'll be back to the drawing board before they take on Idaho State at home. They've got 4 home games coming up at the Save Mart Center in Fresno.
I was talking with Coach Polk this morning about being the hunted. Now being inside that top 20 ranking, you know you're going to be getting a lot of people's best effort. People are going to be circling that game against BYU for the next month before they get into conference play. And he welcomes that challenge.
And McGregor to Stewart to dribble out the clock. A dominating performance for BYU from start to finish. Fresno State got the first bucket of the game, and then that was it. BYU led the entire way by as many as 32 points, and it's an 85-56 final. BYU improves to 7-0 on the season, and their 12th straight non-conference victory.